just wanted to get started just by acknowledging the, we got a big game ahead of us this week. We are excited for the challenge. We know they got a great offense, a lot of speed, quarterbacks playing at a high level, good backs, all those things. But we're excited about our continued improvement and getting closer and closer to the defense and team we want to become. So that's what we're working towards.
Is this the most explosive offense you've schemed for?
Yeah, they're definitely dynamic. A lot of speed. Hill, Waddle, the backs. They got a lot of explosive players. I think Mike McDaniel's is as good as an offensive coach as there is in the league. And you saw that effect he had when he was with the Niners, and obviously he's bringing it over to Miami. They've done a great job with their design, and not just him, his whole entire staff. And they're tough to deal with, and it's going to be a great challenge.
How do you combat that speed when you're watching the film on them?
Yeah, we got to play with good fundamentals. We got to leverage the ball, understand where our help is, understand where our issues are in coverage. It's a big awareness game, a big leverage game. We got to go play fast.
On paper, it seems like their strengths match up really well against your guys' weaknesses just from the first 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. What's going on first and second down that guys are able to pick up a lot of yardage on the ground?
Yeah, some of that is by the nature of how we play. Some of that is we got to play with better fundamentals and schemes, coaches and players, and so we just got to be better. I think we know there's a lot of room for improvement. There's been a lot of good moments, but there's been some explosive moments that we want to take back, and so we got to understand that and understand how we can be better in the future.
When I asked players about that yesterday, a lot of them mentioned about doing their job and not trying to play outside of themselves. Yeah. How much has that been stressed from an urgency standpoint, especially this week? Yeah,
that's always being stressed, and I think doing your job, not only players but coaches as well, putting them in better positions. We all have to be accountable to it, but we know that if we work together and if everybody executes, we can get it done.
You've done a really good job of mitigating plays in the passing game and on third down. Why do you think that first and second down and red zone have kind of been the opposite direction, at least from a statistical standpoint?
Just all the things we mentioned: execution, scheme, all those things we could adjust and be better at. Mm-hmm.
When you see a guy looking to do too much, what's at the root of that?
They want to win. They want to win, and I think we have a lot of guys that care, a lot of guys that are passionate. They love football. I think this team, not just the defense, but this team in general, and in total, everybody's eager to win and succeed. And so finding how to win that's the key for us. We got to figure out how to do it, and a big part about that is just executing and trusting each other. And trust is earned by just doing your job.
We haven't seen as much of Jeremy Chinn as previous seasons. Would you say that that's just due to the flow of the game and how things are going at that moment?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. There's specialized packages for him. We're obviously trying to play him and Troy at that nickel position, and then have Jeremy in some of the dime positions. And so, again, it's almost coming back to the situation, first and second down. Getting more third downs is how we get him on the field, obviously, and then some of those specialized first and second down deals too. But our execution level, our ability to play the run game better, get into more pass situations is going to allow that to happen.
Regarding the secondary, how is Dante Jackson? Will he play on Sunday? And is Troy Hill, is he bringing the veteran attitude that you expect him?
Yeah, no, Troy is, I first met Troy in 2017. We were together for 4 years at the Rams. He's somebody I hold in high regard. And he's been all that has been advertised: experience, knowledge in our system, leadership for not just the secondary but the entire defense. He's done a great job. We're not quite sure what's happening with Dante yet. We're kind of working through all that stuff with the injuries.
How much does he start if Dante doesn't play?
We're still kind of working through all that stuff right now. So.
Just from a film standpoint and a philosophy standpoint, how much is the back-end scheming kind of help mitigate the injury, make up for the injuries that you guys have had, just from a trusting the scheme standpoint? Yeah,
that's always the name of the game, not just in the back end, but wherever, all the way across the deal. It's you got to understand where you're strong, you got to understand where you're weak, you got to understand who you want to have the hard downs, who are we trying to support and give help to. That's always part of how we evaluate our schemes.
You guys had done a pretty good job limiting explosives until last week. How much much of a concern is that based on last week and now who you're facing Sunday?
I wouldn't say it's a concern. It's more so it's an emphasis to get it fixed, right? I think a lot of the plays that happened last week, or the Lions did a good job, and we weren't ready to go from a coaching and a player standpoint, obviously. But I think a lot of what happened could be controlled, could be executed better, and it's not one of those deals where like, oh man, we have no chance. I think we could fix those issues. So.
Could you expand on those?
I don't want to elaborate too much, and I'm always hesitant to give out game plan specifics. But scheme and players, I think we can do a better job in both ends.
Philosophically, in a week like this, when you turn on the tape and there's so many big plays, do you talk to guys differently when there's so much evidence up there on the screen in front of them?
Yeah, and I think you have to dive into each play. Obviously the end result wasn't good enough, but I don't think it's a matter of like, oh, we gave up a bunch of explosives. You got to see how each one happened, what the breakdown was, and really evaluate each play independently.
Sam Franklin is someone that's seeing an increase. I see a smile immediately. An increased role on defense.
Yeah.
What does he bring to this year?
Well, he was a backup. He stayed ready. He stayed prepared, and really not just during training camp in the season, even going back to the spring. Sam has really just increased his level of professionalism, his readiness. He throughout the whole deal, even when Xavier was fine, he was getting ready to play and preparing, having that mindset as a player. And so when he was asked to step in, it was seamless, and he's done a good job. And it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been perfect for many of us. But what I really appreciate is how hard he's working towards it. He's really produced as well. We had the big play a couple weeks ago against Minnesota, and really happy with where he's going.
How is Luke?
We are still working through that, so we'll see.
Jeremy Chin mentioned yesterday that communication is a big emphasis this week on the field between the defensive guys. Is that kind of what you're seeing, and who have you seen maybe step up into that communication role, especially with veteran guys and Shaq Thompson and all those guys going down?
Yeah. Communication is big. It's big every week. It's obviously going to be big this week just because of the nature of their offense. It's not stagnant. They're moving. They're motioning, fast motions, cheat motions, whatever they're calling these things. It's all over the place. And so communication is going to be at a premium. And, it's not just a veteran deal, or it's like everybody has to be great communicators, verbally and non-verbally. That's important. And if you want to play good defense, if you want to execute at a high level, it's essential.